everybody, Blind Visor Guy here. On today's video, I am going to do another cooking episode. Today, I'm going to be cooking a dish that's really good if you're stuck at home, but you still want to make that romantic dinner for somebody special. Alright, so first, I'm going to go over my ingredients, but actually, even before that, cheers. First things first. Alright, so come on over here. I left all my ingredients in the raw form. I'll kind of show you what I work with here. So starting over here, I have a measuring cup, a tea strainer. I'm not making tea. I have a bag of garlic. Last time, if you watched the pastrami episode, I used raw garlic. I do have a grocery shopper, and she informed me they are out of raw garlic, so she got me this peeled garlic instead. Great, don't have to peel it. Alright, I got some fresh parsley here for my herbs. Today we're going to make a white fish. So I do buy just frozen fish. This is tilapia. I did take it out and let it thaw out. It's still kind of cold in a refrigerated state. Vacuum sealed. Got some of those over there. Let's see, moving around, filling. I got my basmati rice, Trader Joe's, I believe. I'll be cooking some basmati rice. So those are my raw ingredients, and next we're going to prep the ingredients. Alright, I got all my food unpackaged. So now I'm going to prep the food. So I have my basmati rice here. I'm going to start with that, so while that's cooking I can prepare the rest. So how I like to do my rice is a 3-to-1 rate, or 1/3 rice to 1 full cup water. A lot of people do 2 to 1. So how I do this, I just kind of eyeball it. Excuse the pun. So I make sure with my fingers I got about a third of this guy full of our Trader Joe's basmati rice. And as I showed you this guy earlier, this is my tea strainer. And what I do is if I want to have a sticky rice, I'll skip this step. But I don't want a sticky rice, I want a loose rice for this. So I'm going to pour my basmati rice into here. And then I'm going to come over to my sink and I'm going to strain off the starch. So I found out that this tea strainer works really well for this. I'm just going to give this a good little rinse here. And I don't need to dry it because I'm going to put it right into my fancy non-stick pot over here. Make sure I get most of that in there. There you go. And then I am going to come back to that same measuring cup. Here it is. And I'm going to fill it all the way up to water. So 1/3, approximately, give or take, rice. And as you can see, I just kind of stick my finger in here and spill, because I like to spill stuff. And dump it in here. So 1/3 rice, 1 full cup of water, and then I have another little trick up my sleeve. If I could find it over here with my important ingredients, I take my ever-trusty olive oil and I just put a little dab in here. I came up with that on my own, but I'm a big fan of olive oil and I don't really like my stuff sticking. So now I will give this a quick stir. I'll go ahead and just use my spatula and I will crank this baby up, and I'll use my hearing to listen to this and tell when it's boiling. So while that's going, I like to do 2 things at once. So now I'm going to do my fish preparation. So as I showed you earlier, I got that peeled garlic here, and after I unbagged this herb, it's not parsley as I thought, it is basil. So that's cool. I like basil. We can go with that. So I'm going to start with my rough chop of my garlic. Rough chop because this is going to cook a long time. And this is a lot of garlic. This serving is for 2, but this is a very garlic heavy dish. There's not a lot of seasoning in here. At the end, we're just going to have salt, pepper, and garlic, and the fresh herb here, basil. So I'm not going to worry about using too much garlic. It's going to give it a lot of its taste. So I'm going to chop this up. So like I said, this is a good dish. I call it romantic. It's simple, but I'll go ahead and give up the secret. I'm going to use a little wine in the end. So in order to make the sauce, I'll reduce a little wine right in the skillet with this garlic and salt and pepper and pour that over it. I was going to tell you that later, but that's like my favorite part of this dish. So let me chop this up a little bit more, and then I'm going to show you a good secret for the herbs. This works for all herbs. So whenever you're chopping herbs, you can use a knife like this, which I do, but I learned this other secret, and it has to do with when you chop your herbs, you can actually squeeze the little cells in the herb and kind of destroy the flavor. So instead of doing that, I'm actually going to use some scissors. So what you do, I've already rinsed my basil, and you kind of prepare it into a little pile here, roll it up, and then take your scissors and kind of go through. And this, instead of chopping and squishing it, kind of puts less stress onto the herbs. This I'm also going to do a rough chop because I'm going to add this, not at the beginning of the cooking, but it will cook for a little while. And I also wanted to add a pretty color to it. So even though I can't see it, I still care about plating and what it looks like. And I want it to look pretty. So kind of my next step here, I got my garlic and my herbs ready. I'll come over to my skillet. I'm going to take a listen to my water. Alright, I don't hear any boiling action, so I'm just going to let that guy go. And again, to my trusty oil, part of my important ingredients. I'm going to pour a hefty serving of this. I mainly do this by counting as one of those pour spouts, so I have an idea of how much comes in there. And I'm a big toucher, so I'm going to touch it, and that's a pretty good amount. So I'm going to crank this guy up and heat up my oil. Alright, and the next step, I'll show you how to prepare the fish and throw it on the skillet. Alright, I can hear my rice boiling, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this down from high to low on a simmer, and then I will put my lid on and just let it sit here. I don't stir it. Some people stir it. Alexa, set timer for 18 minutes.
Second timer, 18 minutes.
So I do use Alexa to set timers for all my cooking. Alright, I have my oil all heated up. I think we're going to hear a sizzle. I do love the sizzle. Alexa's still talking to me. She does that sometimes. We have communication issues.
Okay.
It's mainly on my end.
Talking to me timer, 18 minutes, starting now.
We resolve it one way or another. Alright, so I'm going to come over here, and again, I kind of feel around, make sure I'm hitting the right spot. I know this is hot, so here we go. Alright, I could hear the sizzle, so I was right. Again, we're pretty garlic heavy, I could already smell it. I'm going to give this a quick stir. I'm going to turn it down to about a medium heat, medium low, and then I'm going to come back over here to prep my fish. This is really easy. Earlier I already rinsed and dried this fish. All my meats, I try to rinse, I dry with a paper towel, and then I let it get as close to room temperature as I can before I start cooking it. So this is, again, really easy, just salt and pepper, and I'll still just use 2 hands. So I get my pieces of fish here, and I'm going to go ahead and just salt these, both sides. Be kind of liberal on this. This is where a lot of the flavor is going to come from. And then I'll go ahead and do my cracked pepper. And these are really thin pieces, so they're not going to take a long time to cook. So I'm going to bring them right over here. And hopefully I land them right in my dish. We'll see. So I got this yummy garlic going already. I'm going to take these guys and I just kind of fill it out here. I got that guy down. And then I got that guy down. Alright, I'm going to cook my fish on a low to medium heat. Right now we just got oil, garlic, and salt and pepper fish. It's going to cook for about 5 minutes each side. And then I will add some special ingredients at the very end. So stay tuned for that. Alright everybody. I've had my fish cooking for a little while. Try to aim for about 4 or 5 minutes each side, so I already flipped it. It's on its second side. Has about 1 or 2 minutes left, same as my rice. I like to plan everything, get it finishing at the same time. So my final steps here, I haven't added anything else yet. Let me find my, where'd it go? Here it is, my cut up basil. So coming back over here, I'm going to kind of fill around. I like playing with hot oil. I'm just going to kind of spread this out in here. Get some fresh herbs, some color, some taste. And then I have this white wine. It's a vintage 19... I'm just joking, it's not. I could prove that because it has a screw-off lid. So for this step, any old white wine will work. And I measure it precisely. Actually, I'm just happy if I could hit the pan. So here we go. So this is helping to make the sauce as well. So that's in there with all our yummy garlic and salt and pepper and fish. Kind of cooled it down. I could hear it stop sizzling, which is fine. I'm just going to kind of give it a little stir, shake in here. And then hopefully, if my timing's right, my rice is about done, so I'll ask my ever-trusty sous chef, Alexa, how much time is left on the timer?
You have less than 10 seconds left on your 18-minute timer.
That's good timing, less than 10 seconds left. Alexa, stop. All right, plating time. I'm going to go right into it, so hopefully my rice turned out okay. I'm going to take this over here, and I'm going to touch it with my spoon and give it a little stir. Feels a little wet, but I think it's good. Doesn't feel too sticky as we planned. So we're going to go right into plating. This is while my wine kind of reduces. So I'm going to work here on getting my